Welcome back to Kerno EXP. In this video, which is a bit longer than normal, we go and explore TREGARGUS Valley, which is near St. Stephen. Let's go, folks. Right, so this is the starting point in the valley. The sign gives you a bit of history and locations on the map where to walk. Now in a second, we'll turn to the left. There we go. So we're heading down here now. So sorry about the wobbling, folks. I recorded it on the GoPro and we're using the chest mount. One of my friends, Chris, said I look like a robot with my arms going like that. So yeah, this was a discovery day. I'd never been here before. I've known about it for a little while, but the amount of history that is in this valley is just mind-boggling. It really is. So I believe there was a water wheel in this building here. So we get the Olight out, the Olight Seeker 2 Pro, and it's an awesome torch. So if you want to get one of those, folks, I suggest probably having a look on eBay, but there's various different prices. You can probably pick one up for about 60, 70 quid, which for what it is, for this sort of stuff, it's bloody ideal. So we're venturing in. Oh, spooky. Size of the granite coins in here is just unbelievable. So I think there was a line shaft in it went through here, and it was powered by the water wheel. Now in a minute we'll go to where the water went towards the wheel. So we're heading through where the line shafting was. The size of the granite in here is just unbelievable. And then we're venturing out, a bit of a squeeze. Squeeze. It's amazing that the site here, there was no litter there at all. So the people of St. Stephen are doing their bit at keeping this area nice and clean. So we get up there in a second. We're just having a look down here because like we said, we'd never been here, so it's just discovering what is actually here, and it's amazing what is still there actually, you know, after all this time. So we're heading up the steps which head to where the watercourse was at one time. There was a sluice gates there at one time, but over the years it's kind of salted up, or not salted up, filtered up with mud and what have you. So that's where the water went down through there, and there would have been a water wheel back there. See the old rails there, folks? So that would have been like a walkway across. Can't believe how boggy this path was. Really, really boggy. Yeah, the mic situation has not really been working that well because I tried to plug the mic into the GoPro, but for some reason it didn't work. So I'm gonna have to take the whole system with me and go again and try it again. Not this, but the next kind of video we do. There, that bit of wood is where the sluice gate was, I believe. So this path is quite boggy. So you can imagine why, because there was a leat there at one time, and it's still fairly boggy, you know. Sorry about the wobbling. So yeah, we're heading down into this valley now. Lovely and green. This is the only good day we've had this week, and it doesn't look like we're going to get much more good days, unfortunately, until probably later in the week. So we're multitasking at the minute. So yeah, we're walking down through the valley. Down and down and down. And in a minute we come to something very interesting. Yeah, I could have made this video a bit longer, folks, but I think 32 minutes is kind of long enough. I think when we find something a bit more interesting, we'll definitely make them longer. Now, we do have a mine explorer coming up over the next few weeks. It'll probably be June before we can get to that. We've got all the gear. See the water here, look, that was really boggy. Couldn't believe how much bog there was there. So we went over the top of that and down through. So walking like a robot again. I think next video we'll use the gimbal and see if we can get it nice and trim and true. But the only problem with that is wind noise. So we're going to have to dub music over the top of that, unfortunately. So yeah, heading down. Robot boys going down. That stream down there. Do you know that whole valley reminded me of Canol Vale, which is near Pont Snoof. It's an old gunpowder works. It's got that same kind of vibe about it. The river, I don't think this stream or river here is as powerful as the river in the Canol Vale area there, but it's not far off. So you can imagine why they actually harnessed the power of the water in the water mills. This is the water mill here that we're coming up to, which would have ground china clay. I'm assuming the actual water wheel remains of it is still there, which is absolutely unbelievable because normally they're kind of long gone, aren't they, folks? So we had a brief look in there. There's like a round circle where they would have ground. I'm assuming, you know, like a conventional mill. Um, that's the impression I've got because there's more than one of these in this valley. So heading back out, now we're looking to look at the wheel, which some people have put scaffold around, which is very good because it's preserving history at the end of the day. That's the overshot wheel there. Remains of it are still there with the sluice and that. You know, it's just amazing. I can't believe it's still there after all these years. It's crazy. So I should imagine on the side there would be a stamp saying where it was made. We did find some other wheels in the valley. I won't talk about them right now, but one of them's got a stamp on it which tells you where it was made. So yeah, it's amazing that is still there. Like I said, after all these years, it's crazy. Yeah, so you can see that somebody's nicked the top of the bearings where they would have put the oil or the grease in. They've probably been nicked many years ago. So yeah, quite a long building. There was a part underneath, but we didn't actually get to. That's where the sash window would have been. The old-fashioned sash windows we used to have, long since rotted away. Those cast pipes were probably made, could have been down my way, could have been up St Austell way. So now, later on we go up that path and my God, it was a slog. Sweating like a pig. So yeah, we're heading down. Quite a few extra bits that we didn't have a look at. I should have went in there and had a look. Maybe next time when we go back, we'll have a look there. So down here on the left, there's like remains of a narrow gauge tram system by the looks of it, and we shall see that in a second. We're just walking up to it. It's on the left. It's very clearly some kind of tram network. Could have been horse-drawn or something like that. Do I pan to the left? I think I do. There we are. Look at that, folks. So we didn't actually go through there, so we'll go back later in the year and have a look. So we're heading down to another China clay mill, I'm assuming. I don't think it's a dry, it won't be a dry. So I'm not really sure how that was powered. It could have been powered by water, but I don't see any evidence of that. So it could have been steam powered, this lot here. But don't really see a great deal of evidence of that as such. So we go inside in a minute and we get our torch back out. So there's a cottage up there as well, which we go and have a look at in a minute. Mr. Wobble. There we are. Awesome torch, folks. I've also got the H2R Nova head torches as well, and they are awesome. So the original timbers there, look, they are a bit rotten and a bit wet, but it's amazing they're still there after all this time, you know. So that's where the shafting would have came through, which powered the whole site. You can see it's just basically a mirror copy of the other buildings we looked at already. So we're heading back out. And now we go around to get on top. I think there's a lot more here that I didn't see. Need to go back and film the rest of it later in the year. Lovely chimney there, folks. Look at that. Quite ornate. So we're heading up. Lovely pieces of granite. So we base ourselves here. We take the drone off from here later on. So yeah, we had a break here. We had a tin of Coke and a sandwich. See the milling side of it there. There's quite clearly some kind of grinding, milling, and the material probably fell down through and was processed, I'm assuming. But yeah, it's amazing that all this is still here, not being robbed out and all the stone robbed away. Because local farmers and what have you, they've been doing that, not just here, but everywhere, all over Cornwall. So this is a cottage here. You can see where the original fireplace was. It might have been a Cornish range in there, possibly there. It certainly does look that kind of esque. But yet again, the Cornish range could have been on the other side there. But I'm assuming the first room we went into. So we'll turn back around and head back in. Yeah, very classic Cornish style cottage, this one. Most Cornish cottages are like that. So heading back down. Can't get over that chimney. It's very ornate for a building that was used just for work, you know. So we're further down the valley now. This is another operation which is very similar to what we've looked at already, but this one's got a chimney at the end. So I'm assuming that the end buildings here were dries, were clay dries. And what they would have done is had a fire at one end and the heat would have went through to dry the clay. And then there probably would have been a narrow gauge tram line below, which then tipped it into the wagons and then moved somewhere else for more processing. So at the end here we see the water wheel, all in situ, and some kind of grinding like we've seen in the other buildings earlier. That's my assumption. I don't really know, folks, because I'm not really keyed up on China clay, unfortunately. Tin mining, copper mining is more my expertise. So original spoke's still there, look, it's amazing. I couldn't see anything on the flywheel at that angle, but I think we did actually go around and up. You can still see the original shafting there, look, which is amazing. That's still there. I suppose it's awkward to get it out of there, really, like the scrap man never came of. But it's nice to see that it's still there, you know. So yeah, some of the spokes have rotted away over the years. So we're heading around now, walking around. It's amazing, this area, this China Clay district. It's got a lot more to see than what it had. What we have where I am, which is Campbell and Redruth. Most things have been trashed and smashed and scrapped, but around this area, it's just amazing the bits and pieces that are still there. That there concrete I stood on, it was felt hollow. So we go a bit closer in a minute. So yeah, nice bit of ironwork still there, which is fairly rare these days. I can't remember if I seen a stamp on that wheel. I don't think I did. But the next wheel we have a look at, which is just round the corner, it's got its foundry stamped on it. It's Charleston Foundry. The other wheel is. So yeah, that's magic, isn't it, folks? Would have been nice to have seen these buildings in the day when the roof was still on and all the machinery was still there. Should imagine about 40, 50 years ago, most of it would have been still there. So this is just round the corner, and cast iron rising mains there, which look like they come from a Cornish tin mine. They look identical, those do. They're very old. They could be 100 years old, they could. Which is amazing, isn't it? You can tell by the casting of them they were made down at the foundries down where I am. Harvey's of Hale, Holman's of Camborne, Sarah's Foundry. So look at this, look. I just went down this path by chance, and look what I found. I nearly fell on my ass there because it was quite slippery. You can't see it on camera, but I nearly fell on my jacksie. So we should be able to see the foundry stamp in a minute. I did put the camera up to it, I'm sure I did. Come on, Marky, there you are. We can't really see it that clear there, but it says on it Charleston Foundry Corporation Limited. So I didn't know until a few years ago that Charleston, where they've got the ships to, where they make films and that, used to have its own foundry. I never even knew that. I've known it for a while now, but you know, yeah, it's quite boggy in the valley there today, yesterday. Obviously, I'm recording this audio the day after, folks, because it takes me a while to do the editing. But this is probably the longest video we've done for a long time, 32 minutes and 41 seconds. I'm going to put it out all in 1080p because I can't really do it in 4K, unfortunately. So we're heading up the valley now to our next area. So we're well up the valley now, and this is where we did our proper exploring, because this is off the beaten track now, more close to the active China clay pit. So yeah, this is what we call a bit of Cornish bushwhacking, folks. There's not many people that have been up here, I can tell you that for a fact, because the path is not. There wasn't many. There was a couple of footprints there, but there wasn't many. An ideal place if you're into wild camping, somewhere like this, out the way, no one's going to know you're there. And if you're quiet and you've got stealthy clothes on, i.e., blend in, and a tent that's green or black, an ideal little location there to get away from it all. As you can see, it's getting a bit more. The growth is getting a bit more thicker there now. So definitely a bit of bushwhacking there now, folks. I generally wear stealthy clothes anyway because it's saved my bacon a couple of times where we've been places where we shouldn't have been. If I had like an orange suit on or something like that, which I've got for the Mine Explorers, I probably would have got nabbed. But luckily, because I generally wear stealth stuff, we was fine. So in a minute we end up kneeling over because we had to go down through this bush, like, you know, which was interesting to say the least. So yeah, I think machines have been up there in the past, but not for the last 10, 15 years by the looks of it. But like I said earlier, folks, this area, the China Clay District in Cornwall, which is around the St Austell area, is massive. I can't get over how big this area is. It's just mind-boggling. There's no way I can explore all of this area in a couple of days. It's going to take a couple of weeks, if not more than that, to explore every bit. I do want to be able to get the drone to an area. I'm not going to say exactly where it is, but there's an area where there's some clay pits that have been left for decades, and I want to get the drone in there to have a look around. So we continue bushwhacking, folks. Yes, if you know where that bit of metal is, then we've put a couple of our stickers there, the green ones. So yeah, if you can find that, that'll be bloody amazing, because I don't think many people are going to find that somehow. Like I said, it's well off the beaten track. It's well off that valley where we've been in this video. I don't tend to put our stickers around too much, folks, but places where normal people don't go, that's where I like to put them. There is a couple in the valley there, so if you do find them, then perhaps put a comment in and say I found your sticker. So there we go. We've got to bend down there and pray to the gods. I slept like a log after this explore. It's the most exercise I've done for a while. So we got through, and there wasn't anything up there. I think, to be honest, if I didn't want to get back in a hurry like I did, I probably would have bushwhacked a bit more, to be fair. But yeah, the main tool we use for finding new locations, as you may know, is Google Maps, and Google Maps has come up trumps with a few locations. But the thing is, you can't beat actually physically getting out there. Like my mate Chris was saying recently, he said you need to get out there to explore, because some of these locations you can't see them from Google Maps because they're overgrown and what have you. So yeah, we had to take the rucks off there. We always carry a first aid kit with us, folks, a drink and some sandwiches, a multi-tool, torches, and the drone and camera equipment. So we always got that gear with us. Be prepared is my motto, because I was in the Scouts, folks. So you know, that kind of made me aware that you've got to have fail-safe stuff with you just in case it all goes pear-shaped. Be prepared, folks. Don't take risks, especially with like if you cut yourself or anything like that. First aid kit, have it with you just in case. Common sense at the end of the day. Right, so we've now headed to another area now. Here we are. This was actually built by Imeries, China Clay company that own the site now. And I think they were testing the water. This is what this is for. We found this by chance, and there's an old ladder there, as you can see. So it looks like they've been testing the water here for many, many years. You can see that it's like a rubber or whatever it is pipe on the side there, and there's like a concrete wall there. So this has been looked after on and off for decades. So yeah, this is all new. This is. It was pretty brand new wood and what have you. So yeah, so we head back, and then we go to this like tiny little like concrete tank, I think it is. So we're near to the drone bit now. Hope you've enjoyed so far. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, because this has taken a bit of effort to do this one, please like it. It doesn't cost you anything to like it. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to my channel. So we'll see you at the end bit. Cheers for now. Well, there we are, folks. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back again in a couple of days. If you do go to the area, try and search out our green stickers. They're there hidden in the valley. So, until the next video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It is for free, and we'll see you very soon indeed. Cheers and gone until then, folks.